What is your American dream?
I was born in New York. My American dream is music, and DJing is the one thing that I love.
My family's from Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in the Bronx. My American dream is to achieve success and prosperity through my hard work.
I am from India. I do hope that each one of us realize our own humanity and start helping each other succeed. We are all humanity, and that's the least we should be able to do.
I am from Poland. My American dreams be close to my kids and my grandkids, be happy, enjoy daily life. My dreams are very humble.
I'm from Suriname, South America. My American dream is to take advantage of opportunities to excel at my talents.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Groundhog Sam!
Oh!
You're gonna steal it from me? I'm a criminal defense attorney.
But I love apples! Hello?
Hi.
Have you seen my shadow?
No.
Hello? Have you seen my shadow?
No. That's a nice apple.
Thank you. I took it from Paul Hirsch. Hey! 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 Ah! Hello, Spar Bernstein. Can I help you?
Stick to looking for your shadow. That's my job. Spar Bernstein, this is Gladys. How may I assist you?
Everyone makes me come out of my hole every year, and then I look and I usually see my shadow, and then everyone's angry at me.
I'll tell you what, Groundhog. If you stop bothering everybody, I'll let you introduce the show.
Okay, that's a good deal.
All right.
Now is the time you've all been waiting for! It's time for Brad Show Live, starring Brad Bernstein. Enjoy!
Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. My name is Brad Bernstein. We are live. If you just noticed, we had a fake out. I thought we were going live, but then we had to run the credits, and now I am live. We have not done a show in at least 6 or 7 months, maybe longer. I don't remember the exact last day of the show. Jill, if you can remind me in the private chat, our last time that we did a live show, that would be great. We still have the whole crew behind us at Brad Show Live, and I want to let everybody know that I have been around. I was a little under the weather, had a minor medical scare, which is why I was off the air for a while, but you did see me on social media nevertheless. And we are back live, and I expect to have more and more live shows each week, and then maybe bi-weekly, and then who knows, maybe back to every day. You never know. See how we go. But let me say hello to the squad. I have not said or seen the squad. I have not seen them. I have not said hello to them in a very long time. I miss everybody. A lot of old familiar names like Alyssa McPherson, squad up. Demba Sow, how are you? Philip, what's going on? Squad up, Zed. I see in the comments you're a little nervous on your visa. Leave those questions in the comment section, and I will answer them in our social media check-in. You can also, our telephone lines are open right now, and Fiona is answering the telephones right now, I believe, and she says that there are a bunch of lines still open. You can call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. International, it's +1 212-227-8933. I'm going to be opening up the phone lines in a few minutes, and answering all of your immigration questions. Dembasau, squad up. It's been a very long time. It has been. I don't even know how long it's been. Let's see. August 2023, according to Jill. So it's been at least 6 months. Betsy, squad up. How are you? Fiona, squad up. Christy Consali saying, hi, Brad Show Live. AJ, squad up. How are you? Lee Williams, squad up, Uncle Brad and team. Thank you very much. Benjamin Vargas, what's up? What's up with you, Benjamin? Joan Erica saying she is glad to see me back. Looking forward to some good news. Me too. Fingers crossed. And I believe we have our first pre-schmooze question of the day. It's our first pre-schmooze question in 6 months. Congratulations, Carlene McLean, for asking the first pre-schmooze question. And it is, hello, Mr. Brad, I have a question. I received my green card through the U visa system in March of 2021. When am I eligible to file for my citizenship? Is it 3 years or 5 years? The answer is 5 years. So if you got your green card through a U visa in March of 2021, you can file for naturalization March of 2026, but really you can file 90 days before the 5-year anniversary. So you can file for your citizenship, if my math is right, sometime in late December, depending on the exact day you got your green card in March, but you want to play safe. Let's call it January 1st, 2026. And there, Zed said he is not sleeping at night because of his visa. We'll see if we can help with his problem if he wants to share it with us. Katmisa, squad up, Katmisa. And Mario Mendoza also with a pre-schmooze question of the day. Hello, Brad. My case, my I-360 is at the National Visa Center, and I paid the fee. What is the next step? I paid 2 weeks ago. Well, Mario, let me ask you a question. Are you in the United States or are you in another country? Because if you're in the United States, your I-360 should not be at the National Visa Center, and you should be filing an adjustment of status. If you're an abused spouse and you left the U.S. And now are going to process in a country outside of the United States, after you pay your fees, they are going to send you a DS-230 and a DS-260, which is your biographic data forms and your immigrant visa application. And they're going to ask for police records. And then eventually you'll be documentarily qualified and the case will be transferred to a U.S. embassy for an interview. But if you're in the U.S., which most VAWA applicants are, 99% of them are, your case should not be at the National Visa Center. So call me, pick up the phone, call moi, because I think you got a problem there. If you're in the U.S. Tia, squad up. Tracy, squad up. How are you? And delicious. So great to see you, Brad. I have not received a work permit with my VAWA case. I got prima facie. It's been 1 year and 3 months now. Can I reapply for a work permit? Well, if you filed an I-360 only, then you will not get your work permit until the I-360 is approved. And that's the VAWA case. And that could take at least 2.5, maybe even 3 years for an approval. If you want to get your work permit while the VAWA case is pending, you need to file an adjustment application, I-45. And then you'd have 2 applications for your work permit pending. One based on an VAWA, which doesn't get approved till the I-360 gets approved, and another one based on an adjustment, which gets approved as soon as you file your adjustment application. If you filed an adjustment and it's now a year and a few months and you didn't get your work permit, then there's some problem with your case. Again, call moi. We would need to figure it out. Natasha Campbell, part of Spar and Bernstein, and watching. Squad up, Natasha. D, squad up. How are you? Miloslav Minkoff, our old friend at Brad Show Live. We miss you, Uncle Brad. Welcome back to you and Brad squad. Lazy boy says, I'm new. I love your videos, though. So thank you very much. And Tia Williams, happy to have you back. Missed you. Eve saying hello. Elaine Squad up. Samika Warren, welcome back. Raymond, good morning. It's good morning for you, Raymond. It's good evening for where we are here in New York. It's after 5 p.m. Sun is going down. But wherever you are, good morning to you, Raymond. Ansel, hey, bro. Nice to see you come back. Thank you. Appreciate it. And hold it, because hold has a pre-schmooze question. If your dad is an illegal immigrant, son applying for a green card through a spouse. If your dad is an illegal immigrant, and not son, I guess soon applying for a green card through a spouse, and then counsel processing, would my father's out of status affect my case? If your dad is an illegal immigrant, and now I got the question. If your dad is an illegal immigrant and his son, which is you, is applying for a green card through a spouse and is counsel processing, would your father being out of status affect you? And the answer is no, it would not. You would get your green card anyway. Where it would affect you is if you were applying for a tourist visa, then because your father overstayed, they would not give you a tourist visa. But for a green card through a spouse, it would not affect you at all. Good luck with that. Idowu, squad up. Shan, great to see you back. Great to see you watching, Shan. Thank you very much. Maisha, also with a pre-schmooze question of the day. Hi, Brad. How long will it take to get my work permit through VAWA? Well, I kind of answered that question a couple of pre-schmooze questions before. And the answer is if you applied for an adjustment with your VAWA, then you should get a work permit in 6-7 months. If you did not apply for an adjustment with your VAWA, then it could take 2.5 or 3 years. We're going to get to everybody's else's questions during our social media check-in, so keep watching. I promise we're going to get to answer everybody's immigration questions. I just want to say hello to a few more people I haven't seen in a while. Nezzy, hello. Claudette, hello. 29 Super C, hello. So let me tell you what's coming up. Coming up, we're going to be schmoozing. And for those of you who have never watched our show before, schmoozing is me telling you what's going on in life in the world, especially when it comes to immigration. And then after that, we're going to open up our phone lines. And you see a telephone number scrolling at the bottom of the screen. That is the telephone number to call the law offices of Spar and Bernstein. It is also the telephone number to call our show. And if you call right now, I still see we have a couple of lines open, and you will come live on our show, totally unrehearsed. I don't know you, you don't know me, and we're going to try to solve your immigration problems. 1-800-529-5465 international. It's +1 212-227-8933. But right now, I think it is time to start schmoozing with Brad. So completing an unprecedented 10 million immigration cases in fiscal year 2023, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services has finally started to reduce its backlog for the first time in over a decade. Well, better late than never, I guess. According to USCIS report, in fiscal year 2023, USCIS received 10.9 million filings and completed more than 10 million pending immigration cases, both record-breaking numbers in the agency's history. In doing so, the Immigration Service reduced overall backlogs by 15%. Among USCIS's record number of case completions in fiscal year 2023, the agency administered the oath of allegiance to more than 878,500 new United States citizens, including 12,000 members of the U.S. military who became U.S. citizens, and effectively eliminated the backlog of all naturalization applications. The average processing time now for naturalization applications decreased from close to 1 year to now 6.1 months, achieving the Immigration Service's longstanding goal of significantly reducing waiting times. And historically, 6 months is all it's been taking for naturalization. So naturalization is happening pretty fast. As a matter of fact, if you probably file your citizenship right now, in the next few weeks, you'd probably be a citizen before the presidential election. If you wait another month or two, probably your citizenship will be after the election. You won't be able to vote. So if you want to vote for Biden or Trump, I would file your citizenship if you're eligible in the next few weeks. Meanwhile, even though immigration is reducing their backlog, the state of Florida leads the United States in immigration court backlog cases. According to the Tampa Bay Times. Now, according to the Tampa Bay Times, the Syracuse University's Transactional Records Access Clearinghouse, the United States court backlog has surged past 3 million cases in the last year. That means more than 3 million people have pending deportation cases. Those include people who are getting deported for criminal activity. Those include people who are possibly getting deported for just overstaying their visa. And those also include people who are asylum seekers and people who are otherwise seeking permanent residency through the immigration courts. Now, of all the states, the backlog in Florida is more than 481,000 people with a pending deportation case. And that is a massive jump compared to the year 2012. That was 12 years ago, when there was 17,000 pending deportation cases in the immigration court in Florida. Went from 17,000 to 481,000 pending cases. That means courts are not completing cases, obviously, and there's a lot more people getting put in deportation than the courts can handle. Now, the 4 states with the next highest number of backlog cases is Texas, 458,630 pending deportation cases. California, 348,138 pending deportation cases. New York, 344,505 deportation cases. And Illinois with a pending 211,096 deportation cases. That means nobody's getting deported that quickly here right now. The backlog is attributed to several factors, including a growing number of asylum applications and appeals, cases from previous years remaining open, pending deportation cases, people making motions to reopen their completed deportation cases, and add to this a shortfall in the federal immigration budget, which has affected the timely resolution of many applications in the immigration courts. In 2023, federal authorities made more than 2.2 million arrests at the United States-Mexico border. That is the most ever recorded, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. In its budget proposal for 2024, the U.S. Justice Department requested close to $1.5 billion to hire 150 new immigration judges and 948 new permanent employees to try to reduce this backlog. Meanwhile, when they do try to reduce the backlog, people also complain. 21 new immigration judges have been hired to start working in a new immigration court in Concord, California. So this court is going to serve northern and central California, including Alameda County, San Joaquin County, Solano County, and Contra Costa. If you are going to court in Concord, California, your case is going to go pretty fast. They have 21 new immigration judges with nothing to do there. And some advocates are concerned that the cases are going to go too fast and people are not going to have access to lawyers and not have access to prepare or time to prepare for their cases. So when people complain they're not getting their hearings fast enough, and then immigration hires some judges, and now the complaints are, at least in Concord, California, those cases are coming in way too fast. And USCIS announced strengthening integrity measures for their H-1B program. On January 30th, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services announced The initial registration period for the H-1B cap will open at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on March 6th, 2024. It's in about 2 weeks. And it's going to run through 12 noon on March 22nd, 2024. And during this period, prospective petitioners and their representatives must use an online account to register every beneficiary electronically for the selection process for the H-1B visa lottery. The Immigration Service this year is also going to try to reduce the potential for fraud in the H-1B registration process. People were trying to game the system by submitting more than one application to win the lottery. And the way they're going to do this is they are going to make a beneficiary-centric process where registrations will be selected by unique beneficiary rather than by a registration number. And this new process is designed to reduce the potential for fraud and ensure each beneficiary would have the same chance of being selected for the H-1B lottery, regardless of the number of registrations submitted on their behalf by an employer. And starting also in 2025, USCIS will also require registrants to provide valid passport information and valid travel document information for each applicant in the H-1B lottery. The passport or travel document provided must be the one the beneficiary will be using to enter the United States. And each beneficiary must only be registered under one passport. And USCIS is also clarifying requirements to permit filing with requested start dates after October 1st, if required. And we have some news in temporary protected status. 3 countries have been extended and redesignated for temporary protected status. A country may be designated for temporary protected status when conditions in the country fall into one or more of the 3 statutory bases for designation, which would be an ongoing armed conflict, environmental disaster, or an extraordinary and temporary condition. And just recently, USCIS extended TPS designation for Syria through September 30th, 2025, Sudan through April 19th, 2025, and Ukraine through April 19th, 2025. And on February 14th, just last week, President Biden issued an official White House memorandum on the deferred enforced departure for certain Palestinians and has directed the Secretary of Homeland Security to defer for at least 18 months the removal of any Palestinian who is present in the United States on the date of the memorandum, which is February 14th, 2024. Now, there's some exceptions. There will be some Palestinians who are going to get deported anyway, who pose a security threat or have some serious criminal issues. But otherwise, most Palestinians will have their deportation suspended for at least 18 months because of what's going on in the Middle East. And California, congratulations. You have become the first state to offer health insurance to all undocumented immigrants. California welcomed the new year by becoming the first state to offer health insurance for all undocumented immigrants. As of January 1st, all undocumented immigrants, regardless of age, will qualify for Medi-Cal, which is California's version of the federal Medicaid program for people with low income or no income. Previously, undocumented immigrants were not qualified to receive comprehensive health insurance, but were allowed only to receive emergency and pregnancy-related services. Now they can receive regular medical care, and if they're unable to pay for it, Medi-Cal will. And from the bookshelves of my personal library, I want to bring forth a book by Harold Holzer, Abraham Lincoln and American Immigration. And the reason I do this is because just this past Monday, it was President's Day. Originally established in 1885 in recognition of President George Washington and his February 22nd birthday. The holiday also recognizes President Abraham Lincoln and his birthday on February 12th. It is not just a day to get discounts in major department stores. It is also a day to celebrate all of the presidents of the United States. And since we talk a lot about the border and immigration and politics, I thought it would be appropriate to shine a spotlight on the book titled Brought Forth on the Continent, Abraham Lincoln and American Immigration. It was written by Abraham Lincoln historian and Lincoln Prize winner Harold Holzer. It just was released by Penguin Random Books, and it is a unveiling of Lincoln's legacy and the remarkable similarities between the 19th century and the 21st as it relates to immigration. It is a groundbreaking account of Lincoln's grappling with the politics of immigration against the backdrop of the Civil War. In the 3 decades before the Civil War, some 10 million foreign-born people settled in the United States of America, forever altering the nation's demographics, their culture, and perhaps most significantly, voting patterns. America's newest residents fueled the national economy, but they also wrought enormous changes in the political landscape and exposed an ugly, at times violent, nativist bigotry. The book charts Lincoln's political career through a lens of immigration, from his role as a member of an increasingly nativist political party to his evolution into an immigration champion, a progression that would come at the same time as he refined his views on abolition and Black citizenship, a progression that ultimately allowed him to defeat the South and become one of the most effective presidents in the United States of America, in the history of the United States of America. As Holzer writes about Abraham Lincoln, who we just celebrated last week, the Civil War could not have been won without Lincoln's leadership, but it could not have been fought without the immigrant soldiers who served, and by the tens of thousands who died so that the United States might live. And finally, here's some good news also out of California. The University of California Davis Police Department recently hired its first officer who was a DACA recipient. The opportunity was made possible by a new 1-year-old California state law, Senate Bill 960, that repealed the United States citizenship requirement to become a peace officer in the state. In December, Officer Ernesto Moran was sworn in. He was born in Jalisco, Mexico, and came to the United States when he was just 5 years old. His family came to this country with hopes for a better life. Moran recently told Cal Matters, "I was always told to be afraid of police officers because I would get deported. Now I want to help this community and help other people that are in my same shoes." Before the law took effect, California, like most states, had required its peace officers to be U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents who had applied for citizenship. State law SB 960 makes applicants with federal work authorization eligible to become officers. Supporters said the new law would make an effective recruiting tool at a time of persistent patrol officer shortages. University of California Davis Police Chief Joe Farrow swore Moran in as a law enforcement officer after months of advocating for him. Said Farrow, they are part of our community. They go to school here. They learn here. They teach here. So having undocumented police officers was the next step into completing the idea of representing our community. And there you have it. That is our schmooze for the day. Before we will be answering your immigration questions, I'm about to go to the lines in the next 2 or 3 minutes. I do want to remind everybody a little bit about the law offices of Spar and Bernstein. At Spar and Bernstein, we have obtained quite a few O1 non-immigrant visas for our clients who possess extraordinary ability in the sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics, or who have demonstrated a record of extraordinary achievement in motion picture or television industry and have been recognized nationally or internationally for those achievements. After getting an O1 visa, you can also apply for an EB1 visa for your immigrant green card. And just like the H-1B, the O1 is a dual intent visa. Having dual intent means visa holders can legally transition from a non-immigrant temporary visa to permanent residency without impacting their immigration status. They can have a dual intent of both wanting to reside in the United States temporarily and reside in the United States permanently. In this video, we meet some individuals who are living and working in America who Spar and Bernstein helped with their extraordinary ability visas. Let's watch.
Hi, my name is Ivan. I'm from Italy. I'm a scientist and I obtained my green card for extraordinary abilities. I'm passionate about my work because it allows me to be different every day and to pursue something new all the time.
Hi, my name is Teresa. I'm from Spain. I'm a graphic designer. I have an extraordinary ability visa and I live in New York. What I like about my job is that you create new things, you play with colors, you play with fonts, and you're always creating something new.
Hi, I'm Ramon, aka B-Boy Ramen. I'm from Mexico, and I came here through Extraordinary Ability Visa. America is really diverse. You see a lot of people. Philadelphia, you'll have different styles. New York, the origin of hip-hop, breaking.
Hi, I'm Gerald. I'm from South Africa. I am a painter and a sculptor. I would encourage people to study and pursue their dreams in America. I work in New York, so I get an opportunity to see a lot of people get inspired by different cultures.
Hi, I'm Mandeep. I work in finance and I have an extraordinary ability visa. I would encourage people to come to America to pursue their dreams if they're right qualifications and abilities. And they can definitely apply for the visa and hopefully they should succeed.
Hello, I'm Manuel. I'm from Spain. I have an extraordinary ability. I like cooking from I was a child.
Hi, I'm Lydia, and I'm from Jamaica. I have an extraordinary ability visa in athletics. I would encourage anyone to pursue their dreams here in America.
My name is Chisate Kagian from Japan. I have extraordinary ability. I am a jewelry artist, and besides I am teaching jewelry art in Manhattan.
Hi, my name is Kemdi. I'm from Nigeria. I live in New York City. I have an extraordinary ability in athletics. I would encourage people to come to America to pursue their dreams. If I can do this,
so can you.
If I can do it,
so can you.
If I can do it,
so can you.
If I can do it,
you can do it too.
All right, we are ready to do our meat and potatoes. It's dinner time. Let's get to our questions and answers in something we like to call. Okay, Shanice, you're on. How are you?
I'm doing good, Brad. How are you?
Great. What can I do to help you today?
So, I am a U.S. citizen. I am married to a foreign national, and I filed a I-130, which was approved. When it was approved, we found out that the section, I assume, where you should fill out whether you are adjusting the status or whether you are sending it to the embassy for it to go to consulate, the consulate was not completed.
Right.
So we had to complete an I-824. I would like to know if it would be good to file an I-124 and wait, or file another I-130, and what is the wait time?
Have you filed an adjustment application yet?
No, because
Okay.
we're basically stuck there.
Okay. All right. So you are just filling out a lot of paperwork and spinning your wheels. You haven't even left the starting line yet. This is what I would do. Okay. To do an I-824, of course, $430 $35, and that fee's going up April 1st. To do an I-130 costs $535. It's a difference of $100. You could have 10 million I-130s filed. It wouldn't matter. What I would do now is forget everything you have done, because everything you've done has been for nothing. You haven't left the starting line yet. It is much easier for you to scrap everything. And now listen to me, and I want to tell you exactly what to do so you can get your green card. You're going to file an I-45 application, which is your adjustment application. You're going to sign that application. Your husband's going to submit with that I-45 application an I-130 visa petition, which he's going to sign. And then you're going to sign an I-130A, and you're going to submit it with that application too. And you're going to sign an I-765. That's for your work permit. You're going to sign that as well. You're going to sign an I-131, which is an advanced parole. You're going to sign that. Your husband's going to sign an I-864, an affidavit of support. Give 3 tax returns with that. You're going to submit all of those forms with all the evidence that you and your husband live together and have a financial relationship.
We don't.
Do it before April 1st. Pay $1,760. Stop the bleeding. You'll get a biometric in 2 months. You'll get your work permit in 6 months. You'll get your green card in a year.
But, Brad, the issue is he's living outside of the country.
Then I misunderstood. So why do you care that you want your case at the National Visa Center then? Why are you complaining about that?
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just asking if it is best to do over the I-130 or file the I-824.
Okay, file the I-824 because you want to get your case to the net. Then I misunderstood your question, so I apologize. I thought that your husband was in the U.S. and your case got to the National Visa Center. So you need to get your case to the National Visa Center. So when you filed your I-130 visa petition, I guess somebody checked off that your husband's in the U.S. and going to adjust status or whatever the case may be. So you need to—
It was not completed at all.
Okay, uncompleted at all. So then you need to transfer your I-130 to the National Visa Center. The fastest way to do that is to do the I-824.
Do you know the processing time for the I-824?
About 8 to 9 months, which will be faster than a new I-130.
Okay. And is there any way to request for it to be expedited since it was the I-130 was done?
You can't request an expedite because you screwed up the paperwork. You can't say, please expedite it. I screwed it up. Please help me out. You know, that'd be nice if you can do that, but they won't do that. So you could only request an expedite for some humanitarian reason. Either there's a medical condition or your husband is living in very bad area or bad condition that, you know, he's basically on the street or in a war zone or something like that. But short of that, unfortunately, you just got to do the I-824 as quickly as possible.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Sorry about that.
Yes.
All right. Let's go to AJ in Richmond, Virginia. And by the way, it's a really good example of, oh, I can do it myself. And look what happened. You go, oh, the form's simple. I can do it myself. But look what happened. All right. AJ, how are you?
Hey, Brad. How you doing, man? Good to see you back.
Thank you. What's going on?
Yep. I just have a quick question. I have my interview for N400 next month.
Mm-hmm.
And I filed on the 5-year rule. What can I expect for my interview? That's my first question.
What do you mean? What can you will expect to be asked all questions related to your eligibility for citizenship? So first, have you lived in the United States for 30 out of 60 months? Have you had any trip more than 6 months out of the United States? Have you worked and paid taxes? Because if you worked and didn't pay taxes, then you're not a good citizen.
Right.
Have you committed any criminal activity? Are you a security threat to the United States of America? And then all those questions that you asked yes or no to, 10 pages of yes or no questions, they're going to ask you all of that again. And and anything that's in those questions that you answer that could cause them to think whether or not you qualify for citizenship. Have you been a member of a group that, did XYZ. There's like 20 questions about that. And, you know, so all different types of questions about your admissibility to be a U.S. citizen will be asked. But ultimately, as long as you're squeaky clean, you have a clean record, you pay your taxes, you know how to read, write, and speak English, it should be straightforward.
Okay, cool. I just want one more question. I used to have a 2-year card, and then I got a 10-year card. I did my 751 on my own. Can I expect something regarding that as well on the interview?
Are you no longer with your spouse?
I'm not.
Okay. So you can also expect, if you are not with your spouse, some questions going back to the bona fides of your marriage, and be prepared to answer those questions. Be prepared to make sure those answers are consistent with what you answered on your I-751. And if necessary, you don't have to show that evidence, but certainly bring it with you. And if questioned about the bona fides of your marriage, you can take it out and say, yes, it was a real marriage. Here's the evidence.
Okay, cool. And one last question. I lost my 2-year card. Is that a problem?
No. Because you lost your card doesn't mean you're not a permanent resident.
It was just a 2-year card. I have a 10-year one, but okay, that's not a problem. So they will not create any issue at the ceremony, right?
No, well, I've seen situations, rarely, but I've seen situations where people pass their interview, they get a ceremony date, they show up at the ceremony, and the officer says, sorry, your ceremony has been canceled. And that's sometimes after they approve you, some investigation report comes in that says you're not qualified. And the reason why it's the scrutiny for citizenship is harder, believe it or not, than the scrutiny for a green card. Because if they give you a green card incorrectly, they could always deport you. If they make you a citizen incorrectly, really hard to take it back.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, like, just because I lost my 2-year card,
no, that's not going
to cause it.
That's not going to matter.
Oh. All right, thank you, Brad. That's all I had. Thank you so much.
Good luck. All right, let's go to Sean in Atlanta. Sean.
Yes, Brad. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. Brad, I'm really glad to see you back. I actually just said hi to you on the show.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Brad. No problem. Okay, Brad. So this is what my situation is. I got my green card through my dad. My dad was a U.S. citizen. He was a green card holder, and then he became a U.S. citizen. And I got my green card because of my dad in December 2017. In 2017. Unfortunately, in May 2022, I was arrested for a misdemeanor. The misdemeanor was solicitation of sodomy. And 20 months just passed. And now my lawyer for the misdemeanor case, he spoke to the prosecutor, and now my case will be dismissed, and I'm put under a pretrial diversion program.
Good.
Now, within this 20 months. Oh, did you say something,
good.
Brad?
I said good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that actually brings a little bit of breathing for me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that now my case will be dismissed without conditions because I've been put on a pretrial diversion program. And even, Brad, with that pretrial diversion program, there's nothing really I have to do. Basically, I have to submit a mental health evaluation. And the other stuff is like, you don't, you abide by the laws of the government and, not to be stalking anyone. Oh, I do also want to say one more thing to you, that within this 20 months of time period, the prosecutor initially added one more charge of stalking. But now, just to make long story short, my lawyer got me a pretrial diversion program in which I just have to submit a mental health evaluation, and if there's any treatment needed, then I just have to submit a treatment, and then the court will dismiss the case. So that is how it will dismiss the case. So there's no community service involved. There's no jail time involved. There's
There's no guilty plea.
Yeah, no guilt. Yeah, there's correct. There's no guilty plea. There's no admission of facts.
Yeah, it's not a conviction. It's not a conviction.
It's not a conviction. Correct. It's not. I don't have to pay fine or anything like that. So no community service, no probation, no fine. I just have to submit a mental health evaluation, and if
Right, I understand.
if
So
needed-
okay, let's get to the question. I get it.
Yeah, my question is, well, actually, there's three things I want to know. First.
Sure.
Right now, I actually saw in one of your previous videos that if the charge is pending, since the time I got arrested, I did not go outside and travel outside on my green card because I was too scared.
Right.
But the other thing is that right now, once I'm done with the pretrial diversion program, can I travel outside U.S. on my green card? Second question, can I apply for a U.S. citizenship? Now, once I get the certificate of disposition, the dismissal certificate, and my third question is that because a charge of stalking was added, and although I'm put on a pretrial diversion program, I was reading somewhere on Google that said that stalking is a deportable crime. So, can I get deported for a misdemeanor crime?
All right. So, number one, you can travel. You don't have a conviction based on what you told me. So when you come back into the airport, just bring a disposition with you in case they question you. Say, here's my disposition, charge is dismissed. You can be charged with 1,000 different crimes. If you don't have a conviction, you can't get deported and they have to let you back in. Number two, yes, you can file for citizenship. I can't give you a personal guarantee that you would become a citizen. You have to prove good moral character. And generally, my opinion is one arrest in a lifetime doesn't make you a bad person. Just makes you either unlucky or you had a bad day. And whether you're unlucky or you had a bad day or whatever you want to put it up to, that doesn't make you a person of bad moral character. And under the law, you don't have to prove that you are a person of good moral character every moment of your life. You don't have to be the Pope. All you have to do is be a general person of good moral character. So having one arrest that got dismissed, I don't think, my personal opinion is, I don't believe that to be bad moral character. Now, with that being said, an immigration officer can disagree with you or disagree with me and deny you, and then we would appeal. But generally speaking, nothing bad will happen to you by filing for your citizenship. And my belief is the law says the law's on your side. You would become a citizen. And number three, and to answer your third question, any conviction you have to worry about whether or not it's deportable or not. It depends on the section of law that you're found guilty of. It depends on how long you've had your green card. It depends what state this happened in. It depends what the penalty is. So to read on Google a general statement that stalking is deportable, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We need to know a lot more. What I would tell you is, based on what you told me, you don't have a conviction. So who cares? You were charged with stalking and the charges were dismissed. So you're not getting deported on it.
Okay, because my other immigration lawyer, he kept saying no on all of these three things. He said, because your case is getting dismissed with conditions, he's saying even submitting a mental health evaluation, he says that's still a dismissal with conditions. So that's why I don't say that you should apply for U.S. citizenship now, because I don't think you can get it. And he's saying that.
So then let's do this then, because I'm basing it based on what you told me.
Right.
If you want my solid 110% opinion, which in my opinion is generally, you can put a stamp of approval on it.
Sure.
Set up a consultation with me, show me the disposition, show me exactly what the result of that case is. And I can tell you 110% what your situation is. I'm basing my advice on what you're telling me. What you're telling me, it seems like you're okay. Maybe what you're describing is not what ultimately happened. I'm not saying you're lying, but
Right.
maybe you're not describing it properly, and that's why the other immigration lawyer is saying something different. But based on what you told me, you're fine. You send me your disposition, I'll give you 100% certainty.
Okay, and do we need to submit a police report? Because Brad, when I file for citizenship,
No, I don't need the police report. I just need the disposition.
No, Brad, but like when we apply for U.S. citizenship with
You may
USCIS,
have to. Let me see the disposition, then I'll tell you.
Okay, so the USCIS needs to see my police report?
They could ask for it. I wouldn't submit it unless they ask for it, but they could ask for it, but I wouldn't voluntarily submit it unless, it's pretty, non-relevant. But, if it says some salacious things that you did, why would we submit it unless they ask?
Okay. And Brad, I was also reading it on USCIS website as well. It also said that pre-trial diversion programs, even if they require like community service or some sort of thing, pre-trial diversion.
Let me tell you what a conviction is.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got to stop reading Google.
Sure.
A conviction,
USCIS website.
A conviction under the Immigration and Nationality Act is that you are found guilty by a judge, or you go into court and you say, I am guilty, and a punishment is given to you. Punishment could be community service. A punishment could be a fine, could be jail time, whatever it is. If most diversion programs, but not 100% of them, most diversion programs are a judge says, I am not going to decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. I'm going to ask you to do X, Y, and Z. Come back to me and show me that you did that, and I will throw the charges out. So in most diversion programs, there's a sentence without a finding of guilt. Now, there are some states like California that have two diversion programs, one where you're found guilty and then a judge asks you to do a program, and another diversion program where the judge will not find whether guilt or not guilt and ask you to do a program. In the cases where a judge says, I'm going to find you guilty, you do this program, then I'm going to drop the charges, that would be a conviction because you were found guilty, you did a sentence, and then the judge dropped the charges. I'm going to add one more thing on to all of this, which is there's case law out there that says if what the judge asked you to do was not a punishment. So in your particular case, it was, subject yourself to a mental health evaluation. Subjecting yourself to a mental health evaluation is not a punishment. What that is that's self-help. The judge is asking you to get some help. How is that a punishment? So there's that argument as well. But based on what you told me, you said you didn't plead guilty. Judge didn't find you guilty of anything. So that's not a guilty plea.
And no admission of fact. And I've never been arrested in my life.
So I based on what you're telling me, I'm disagreeing with whatever that lawyer told you. But you want me to be 100% certain. That's why I said, show me the disposition. I got to go to the next caller. We would spend too much time. Okay.
Sure. No problem. Thank you so much, Brad. And I've been in the country since 2006 and I've never been arrested. So I've been.
Well, guess what? I'll tell you one more thing. If you've been in the United States since 2006 and you have one crime of moral turpitude that happened more than 5 years after your entry, it's still not deportable. So whichever way you look at it, you're okay. All right. Let me go. Let's go to Tia in Manhattan. Tia.
Hi, I'm Fred.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to have you back. Not too bad. Okay, so I have a few questions here. I got my green card in 2022, and on my form it said that my children were listed for
Tia, I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you speak up, please?
Okay, so I got my green card in 2022, and on my form that I wrote up to get my card is that it said my children were listed on it for immediate migration. My husband has recently filed for my sons. They're 12 and 9. My daughter was...
So let me ask you a question, Tia, because you're breaking up, but I kind of got the gist. Your husband filed for you
Okay.
and included your children on your application. Is your husband a U.S.
Yes.
citizen?
Yes, he is.
And did he file separate I-130s for your children?
Well, personally, yes, he did separate I-130 for my sons, but my daughter, no, because she was 18 already at the time of our marriage.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So what is the question you have today?
So my question is, the affidavit of support that we have on it, would that one still be valid, or you have to get a new affidavit of support? Two, I have to pay to become a citizen to file for my daughter because she's 25 now.
Where is your daughter
At
now?
what point? In Jamaica.
Okay. So you have a green card?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So your daughter's unmarried today, tomorrow, file an I-130 visa petition for her. You have to start establishing a priority date. Whatever work your husband did for her in the past, forget about it. It's, it's not worth the paper it's written on. Throw it all away. Got to start from scratch. Start with an I-130. Even as a permanent resident, every day you wait to file for your daughter, there's people jumping ahead of her on a waiting list for a green card. She will likely wait 6 or 7 years because I assume she's going to turn 21 or is already 21 years old. But ultimately, if she stays single, she will get her green card in her mid-20s, and you would have to provide a new affidavit of support.
Okay, so my sons, he still filed for recently, as in this year. They are okay, right?
As long as an I-130 was filed for your son separately, and as long as the marriage happened before your son was 18, and as long as the I-130 visa petition was filed before your son was 21, he will be okay.
Okay, so I can still go ahead, file for my daughter as a green card holder because I thought I would have to wait.
No, that's the worst mistake in the world. Because file now, establish a priority date.
Okay, so with me getting it in 2022, how soon can I put my citizenship in?
If you're married to your husband and living in a bona fide marriage, 2 years, 9 months, and 3 days from the time you got your green card.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Uncle Brad.
Good luck.
And don't.
Whoop, I disconnected her. She said, and don't, but I didn't hear what she said. I apologize to you. Lewis in Providence. Lewis.
Hey, bro. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. Good to see you back.
Thank you.
All right, I have a quick question. So I got my green card through marriage back in 2015. So unfortunately, something happened back in 2021. I got arrested for domestic violence and and vandalism, domestic violence as well. So there were 2 charges filed on me, and so last year both charges got amended to disorderly conduct.
All right, so you were arrested for domestic violence and ended up being a disorderly conduct. What is the question?
So my question is for citizenship.
You have 2 arrests for domestic violence. How long ago did it happen?
I mean, I got 2 charges for domestic violence.
I understand that. Tell me the years they happened.
Back in 2021.
Both in 2021?
Yes.
Okay. Are you married to a U.S. citizen?
No.
Okay.
We got divorced back in 2020.
When it got changed to a disorderly conduct, what year did that happen?
Last year.
2023.
2023, 2 years later.
Okay. So, and did you have to do any community service or probation, or it was over at that point?
Here they call it filing. They basically, I don't do any probation or anything. They just leave it the case for 12 months. They're gonna dismiss.
So it hasn't been fully dismissed yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Unfortunately, well, let me tell you fortunately first. Fortunately, it's not deportable. You can travel. You can do your thing. Keep your green card. Unfortunately, I would say 2 domestic violences in the same year arrests, even though they ended up being disorderly conducts, I think you're going to have to wait 5 years from the conclusion of those cases, which is concluded in 2024, that you would not be able to file your citizenship till 2029.
Okay.
Because I think you would run into a moral character issue having been arrested twice for domestic violence, even though it ended up not pleading guilty to that. I just think an officer, when they see domestic violence, 2 arrests in 1 year, they're going to say you got to wait.
But it was the same arrest. They filed 2 charges against me, but that's only 1 arrest.
Oh, okay.
2 charges.
All right. Well, then, if it's just 1 arrest and it ended up being a disorderly conduct, I would tell you the same thing I would tell the other person who called a few calls earlier. You're allowed to have a bad day, and I would file for your citizenship 5 years from the time you got your green card, as long as all your probation and all your community service is completed. It's a disorderly conduct. It's not a crime. If you had done anything so terrible, they would have charged you with a crime and found you guilty of a crime. And I would chalk it up to a bad day. And I think more likely than not, you would become a citizen, but there's no guarantee. But nothing bad would happen by them saying no. The worst thing they'll say is wait till 2029.
Okay, but here's sorry, I know you're short on time, but here's my last question. So there were basically 2 charges, right, for domestic violence, but they both got amended to disorderly conduct. So basically, I got 2 convictions for disorderly conduct.
I don't understand. All right, so I don't understand what you mean by 2. If you have 2 charges for domestic violence, that means there's 2 different incidences, even though you got arrested on 1 day. Was there 1 incident or 2? It's a very important. What?
1 incident.
So then why you keep saying that there were 2 charges for? There's only 1 charge. You can't be charged for the same crime twice from the same incident.
I mean, there was only 1 incident, but they put it this way: they put it 1 felony and 1 misdemeanor.
Okay, fine. So you had multiple charges from 1 incident that ended up being a disorderly conduct. So we go back to what I said originally. You had 1 bad day.
Okay.
All right.
So I got a good chance to apply for citizenship.
I think nothing bad would happen by trying, and you have a good chance to get it. And if not, you'll do it in 2029.
What about for traveling? Can I travel back and forth without problems?
Without a problem.
Should I carry my disposition with me?
Travel with your disposition. Show it was a disorderly conduct. They'll let you through.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, buddy.
Good luck. Let's go to Goldie in Brooklyn. Goldie.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, Goldie.
Hi. How are you?
You just have to talk into the phone, but not listen to the show while you're live on the air.
Okay. Yeah, I just know.
Okay.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. There is my question. I have my sister. Her mother filed for her in 2015. Her I-130 got approved. They sent it to NVC. NVC reached back to her in 2020. At that time, she was already married, so she added her spouse, son, and stepson to the case.
This is
So
mother
now they are
filing.
waiting.
This is mother filing for daughter, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then when the embassy reached out to her to pay for a visa, so they added her spouse, son, and stepson. So that was in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So now they are in the U.S. My sister, her husband, and son and stepson. So can they adjust the status?
When did mom file for them?
Mom filed in 2015.
No, because the priority dates are like 2009 right now for married children. They have years of waiting still.
So they cannot adjust the status.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. My second question.
Yes.
So that one is for me. I have my niece living with me. Can I adopt her? She's from Haiti.
What is your status here?
I am a green card holder. I just applied for citizenship. My husband is a U.S. citizen.
How old is your niece?
She's 11, turning 12 soon.
Okay. This is Where's the niece's parents?
They are in Haiti.
Okay.
Here, I only have the legal guardianship. She came as part of the humanitarian parole.
Okay. So this would be my advice.
Mm-hmm.
You can go about it one of two ways.
Mm-hmm.
You can go through a formal adoption and get parents to agree. And an adoption takes a year or a year and a half. And you would have to wait on the adoption, wait on your citizenship before you file for her adjustment. You still have to prove legal guardianship for 2 years. Did a judge in New York give you legal guardianship, or you just have legal guardianship through the parole process?
From Haiti.
Okay. All right. So if it's a legal guardianship, then that would be fine. I think a faster process could be that you go into and a quicker process could be that you go into family court in Brooklyn with the help of an attorney. You get legal guardianship of the child in Brooklyn, New York, because I see that's where you're from. And as part of the legal guardianship, you request a judge to give a special ruling that it's not in the child's best interest to return to Haiti because one or both, you only have to show one or both parents either abandoned her or it's unsafe for her to go back to live with one or both of the parents, which I think you'll be able to do. And then she's considered an abandoned child in the United States and can adjust her status that way.
Okay. Okay.
All right, but you can call
Well,
my
her parents has a tourist visa that sometimes they come here. So would that affect their parents in any way? I know once I adopt her, she will no longer be their child. But I'm not talking about
if
having her parents abandon her.
If I don't want you to lie, and if the parents are still in her life and they come and see her, then do the adoption.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Hold on.
Right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Let's go to Mario in Long Island. Mario.
Hi, Brad. I was the one I sent you a text on YouTube before.
Okay.
Yes. Hi, Brad.
What is your question? I don't remember. What I see so many texts.
My question was that my case it was on NBC.
Right.
Before. Okay. Right now I got approved on my I-360.
Oh yes, you were like the first pre-schmooze question, which was
yes.
I-360s at the NVC, and you're calling me from Long Island. So I said 99% of the VAWA cases are in New York. What's your case doing at the NVC? So my question is,
yes,
why don't you file an adjustment?
I think my I sent my I-485.
Right.
And it's an NBC because I got my $2 for my I-824 is approved.
Do you have a green
that's
card?
Why they are at the
Do you have
NBC.
a green card?
Not yet.
Okay, so then you can't have your case should not be at the National Visa Center.
Okay.
Okay. What you should be doing. This is the process. I don't know where you screwed up, but this is the process. You file an I-360 and an I-485 concurrently. You adjust your status. Then you do an I-824 to transfer the file to the National Visa Center so you can have your children follow to join you. That's the process. You filed an I-824 before your adjustment was approved. So I don't know why your case is at the National Visa Center. So somebody's screwing up somewhere, but we got to fix it.
Yeah, like I said, it was because I sent all the package. My lawyer sent it to the
Your lawyer's
whole
doing
package.
everything wrong then. This is the process
Yeah,
again. You file an adjustment application. I know you want your kids to come, but your kids cannot come until you get approved. So there's nothing the National Visa Center can do until your case gets approved. Once your case gets approved, that entitles your kids to follow to join you.
Because
they won't give your kids
already.
They won't give your kids anything until you get a green card. Then you do the I-824, and then they come and follow to join you. So somewhere something's screwed up somewhere. I would have to see what everything was done, but something's being done incorrectly.
Yeah, what I did is just I paid the fees for.
You're paying everything wrong. Just wrong. You're wasting money.
Oh shoot.
Oh shoot is right. Okay. If you'd like, have a consultation with me. Show me what you've done, and we'll fix everything. Okay. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, how I can do that? Somebody can.
Hold on. Someone will talk to you. Peter in Fort Lauderdale. Peter.
Hey, Brad, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So I guess I just have more or less a question, but also advice. So me and my wife are just now putting everything together. Just a little backdrop. She entered the country originally less than a year ago. She came in illegally. She surrendered herself at the border. At the time, she was processed and was just released only with a I-220A form. Not sure, because I know one of your videos you had mentioned about arriving alien.
Yeah, she's an arriving alien. So she surrendered at the border. She was processed and paroled in. She's an arriving alien. She's eligible to adjust her status with a waiver. She doesn't have to go see a judge if she's married to a U.S. citizen.
Okay, so she can't do is that the I-601A form?
She would do a adjustment with an I-212 waiver, which is a waiver.
I-212. Gotcha. So that should be that you would suggest the very first thing she does.
The very first thing she does is file a full adjustment application with a waiver. But you need the help of a lawyer to help you with the waiver. You're not going to get a waiver approved on your own.
Absolutely. I'll be making that call to your office by the end of this week.
Being frank with you. You don't have to call me, but call a lawyer for that one.
No, I'm definitely calling your office. Trust me. I've been studying your videos. It's been my gospel lately. So thank you for your incredible work that you do. One last. I guess I think that's about it. Just the I-212 form. I just want to like the very first.
When we talk, we'll talk more specific. And remind me that we spoke.
Okay, because the only reason not a problem. The only reason why I asked is because I saw one other detail about what's considered as an arriving alien. There should be like a document or a form that states that on there. She did not get anything of that sort. So it's just that I-220A form that they released her with.
All right. Well, we'll take a look at what you have, and we could always do what's called a CBP for you to get records of everything.
Perfect.
All right.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much, Brett.
Right.
I appreciate your time.
Okay.
Have a great evening.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Delia in West Palm Beach. Delia, how are you?
Hey, Brad, I'm good. Welcome back.
I'm sorry, say it again.
My daughter's. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yes, so my daughter filed a VAWA case, and she got a prima facie. The lawyer, he filed the adjustment and everything, but she didn't receive a work permit. And then he was telling her that she could refile for the work permit. So I'm just calling to find out if you think that's a good idea.
She filed a VAWA. She got a prima facie. She has not gotten a work permit. And the lawyer says you can refile for a new work permit. Well, has she filed an adjustment application? Is the question.
Yeah, he did. He filed an adjustment also. And then he asked her for evidence to send in, and they did that also.
What evidence was asked?
Of the abuse.
That's different. That's the VAWA case.
Okay.
Did she pay a filing fee for an adjustment? That would have been $1,225.
Yes, she did.
So if she filed an adjustment, she should have gotten a work.
She filed a marriage case first, and then it was withdrawn, and then he did the VAWA, and he did the adjustment.
Okay, so if she filed a marriage case, what should have happened was that the lawyer should have asked for the marriage case to be held in abeyance, no decision made on it, while the VAWA case is pending. So she can keep her adjustment application open, and she can file and renew work permits and travel documentation. If they withdrew the marriage case, that means the adjustment was withdrawn as well. And all she has is a VAWA case pending. And she would not get a work permit just with a VAWA case pending. So she would then need to file an adjustment. The key question, which we don't know the answer to at this very moment, is there a pending adjustment of status? If there is, then why she doesn't have a work permit, I don't know. And just filing for another one seems insane until you figure out why she didn't get it the first time around. If
Right.
there is no pending, well,
I
let me just finish. If there's no pending adjustment,
Go ahead.
well, then we already know the answer why she doesn't have a work permit, because she doesn't have a pending adjustment. And we have to file an adjustment and file for her work permit. So that's what we need to figure out. And I think
Okay.
I won't be able to do it here on the live show. So hold on, we'll give you a consultation.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So let's go to Eve in Kansas City. Eve. Eve.
Hello.
Eve?
Sorry.
Hi, Eve. How are you?
Hi, Brad. How are you? I'm doing well.
Great. What's
Actually,
going
Eve is my friend, and I'm calling on her behalf because she gets a little bit nervous and starts stuttering. She, a little backstory on her. She was a student. She came in the U.S. as a student, and now she's married to her U.S. spouse, I believe, last year. And he started the process for her. Of course, they filed all the paperwork. And I believe on December, they got a request for more evidence. They did submit the bona fide marriage proof, all of that. From my understanding, he is not so well with finances, so she handles all the finances. So the request for evidence was they just asked for more, I guess, for more evidence. And since he had a job change, they updated that and they sent the request for that and all the good stuff. She was wondering. She did get her EAD card. She did get her work authorization. However, she did not get her advanced parole, and it's been more than 180 days, I believe, since they filed. And she was just wondering if there's anything she can do to get that approved as of right now.
Well, okay, so this is the situation. When you file an adjustment application and you get an RFE, which is the request for evidence, that's what you described to us, and they're asking for additional documentation, that's additional documentation, like the financial documentation, that should have been filed originally with the adjustment. They're giving you a second chance to correct the paperwork. Your advanced parole, the advanced parole application processing does not start until that paperwork is corrected. So unfortunately for her, her advanced parole is delayed because that's the way immigration works. So you have to count 6-7 months from the time that her husband submitted the additional documentation and then call me and say it's been 6-7 months from that date.
Okay. Oh, okay. And then one more question she had was, so when she came here as a student, it was her and her brother. They both had an F1 student. Unfortunately, due to his own different case, he had a criminal record and he has left the country. And she's wondering if that is going to affect her.
No. As they say, she's not her brother's keeper.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's go to Maya in Concord, New Hampshire. Maya.
Hello.
Hi, Maya. Hi, Maya. How are you?
Good. How are you? How are you, Brad?
Good. Great. What can I do to help you?
So I'm going to give you a timeline of my case here. I got married in July 2018 into a U.S. citizen. On May 2019, I got my green card through marriage. On April 2021, spouse and I filed jointly for I-751 or condition removal. On August 2021, we broke up and spouse filed for a divorce. And September 2021, we had our divorce final. On October 2022, I received a decision of approval in the mail for my I-751 application, and it was approved and got my 10-year green card, and did not get any request for interview or anything like that. I just received the notice and 10-year card in the mail. So can I file for naturalization now?
No, you're gonna
90 days
have
prior?
a problem. No, you're gonna have a problem because you removed the conditions after a divorce. So you needed to convert your case to a waiver case, and you never did that. So
Yeah,
you
'cause
got
I
approved.
wasn't aware
You got approved based on a bona fide marriage when you were no longer in a bona fide marriage. So if you were to file for your citizenship, the government would say you're not a lawful resident and you're not eligible for citizenship. I know it's not your fault, just telling you what would happen. So we have to fix this issue. We got to go back to immigration. We have to ask them to reopen your I-751 and adjudicate it based as a waiver. I know you don't want to hear that, but I mean, go file your citizenship and call me in 9 months, and when you get a letter saying you're not a resident, that's what's going to happen.
Sorry, you said to file the citizenship and call you? Sorry.
No, it's being sarcastic. Because I hear you don't like what I'm saying. Of course, nobody would like what I'm saying, and it's not your fault. So you're like, that's not even fair. It's not even my fault. So I get it. But what happened was, once you are divorced, you are not in a bona fide marriage. And it's your responsibility to tell immigration the day you're divorced, you're not in a bona fide marriage anymore, and request a waiver. And you didn't do that. And whether it was a couple of weeks or months or 2 months or 3 months, whatever it was, whatever it went by, they approved your case believing you're living with your spouse when you were not. And they believed you were in a bona fide marriage when you were not. So when you go to apply for your citizenship, it's all going to come out. And then they're going to accuse you of all sorts of bad things that wasn't your fault. So fix it before you do your citizenship. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I understand. So what would be the best that I should do?
Have a consultation with me, and then we'll figure it out. But I think you're going to have to reopen your case.
Okay, like filing the I-751 again, and then
filing your motion to reopen.
Okay.
Right,
okay, we'll do that. Thank
you. Excuse me. Let's go to Monique in Lexington, North Carolina.
Yes, hi, good evening.
Hi, Monique.
Hi, so let me turn down this one. Okay, so my question is, I'm a U.S. citizen, right? And I filed for my husband. He's currently a green card holder. He has a son from a prior relationship. The son, he's my stepson. He's currently 12 years old. We did an I-130. Well, he did an I-130 as a green card holder for his son. We did that back in 2022, and of course, it's still pending. Currently, my husband, he just did the N-400 to file for citizenship, and we just got approval for his fingerprint. So he just did his fingerprint today.
How old is his son?
My question, go ahead.
How old is his son?
12.
Okay. Why didn't you file for him, just out of curiosity? Because you're the stepmom, you're the U.S. citizen.
Yeah, we didn't know. So he did it, unfortunately. So that's why I guess it's pending. So my question is, my question is, once he gets his citizenship, my husband, can he do an adjustment of status?
Son's here in the U.S.?
Yes, he lives with us now. He's been here since 2020.
Yeah, the day your husband becomes a citizen, the next day you put in adjustment, and ultimately, because the son's 11 or 12 years old, whatever, I think you told me 11, the son will get approved before he's 18, that's for sure. So he's living with his U.S. citizen father. He'll actually become a U.S. citizen.
Okay, so what form is the adjustment form?
I-45.
Okay, so the thing is, the only issue is, wow, as I said, he has that paperwork in since 2020, and my husband is currently in the process of getting citizenship. Unfortunately, my 12-year-old son decided he wanted to be stupid and do a prank phone call with, basically, currently he's being charged with communicating threats of mass violence, which is quote unquote terrorism because he made a prank phone call to say that he's gonna kill people, whatever. So we don't have a court date or anything.
Are you being charged as parents?
No, we're not being charged. It's just him.
Okay, then that should not affect that should not affect your husband's citizenship.
So the question I'm asking, after my husband gets his citizenship, should we continue to do his paperwork for my son?
This is the same son who's waiting on his green card is the one who cranked the school?
Yes.
Yes, because as a 12-year-old, he won't be charged with a crime. I assume you're in family court as a juvenile delinquency, and not being charged as an adult. And certainly you should do it immediately because, you know, I hope he never does anything stupid again, but if he does, at least he's a citizen, so he won't get deported.
Okay, so it's basically just continue with this process. So as soon as my husband gets his citizenship, the next day just do adjustment of status for our son?
Yes. Yes.
Because right now with the crime, we don't know anything.
You need a lawyer. You need a lawyer for two reasons. One,
okay, go ahead.
You're doing everything wrong. You didn't even know that you should have filed for him. And two, he has a juvenile delinquency and threats of violence. And even though you can't have bad moral characters, 11, 12-year-old, I'm sure he's in family court. It's going to be juvenile delinquency. You need lawyers.
I need criminal and immigration lawyers.
No, I don't know about a criminal lawyer. I don't, you know, whatever you need a criminal lawyer in North Carolina, but you certainly need an immigration lawyer. That's for sure. All right, hold on one second. Let's go to Mo in Toronto, Canada. Mo in Toronto, Canada. Mo. Going once, Mo. Say it ain't so, Mo. Mo is in slow-mo motion. Mo was my grandfather. All right, Mo. You snooze, you lose. What can we say? All right, that is our meat and potatoes for today's show. And I do have to remind everybody that if you did not get your immigration questions asked and answered on our show, leave your questions right now in the comments section. We're going to be getting to social media check-in in the next few minutes, actually about 3 minutes from now. And I'm going to be answering all of your immigration questions from the comment section. I'm going to try to get as many as I can. I do have to remind everybody to follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, all at Bradshaw Live, Facebook Bradshaw Live. Follow us on Instagram at Bradshaw Live. You can follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. You can follow us on X, formerly Twitter, at Bradshaw Live. Threads at Bradshaw Live. You can also follow me on TikTok at Brad Bernstein Law. Of course, you can visit the law offices of Spar and Bernstein at www.lawsb.com. And before we go into our social media check-in, I do want to remind everybody that Spar and Bernstein is not only immigration, but also personal injury claims as well. In this short video, I'm going to explain what you should do if you were involved in a motor vehicle accident in New York and who pays for your injuries and how no-fault insurance works. Let's watch. Immediately after a motor vehicle accident, you should call the police and give your statement. Remain on the scene of the accident until the police arrive. If possible, take pictures and video of the incident with your phone. Seek medical help immediately. Every vehicle owner in New York has no-fault insurance. The no-fault insurance company will pay for medical expenses up to $50,000. If you were the operator of the vehicle or a passenger in the vehicle in which you were in will pay for the expenses. No-fault insurance covers medical expenses up to $50,000, 80% of your lost wages, in-house help if you're unable to perform routine daily activities like dressing or eating, and travel expenses to and from the doctor's appointments. New York is a no-fault state, which means that regardless of who has caused the accident, your insurance company will cover the medical expenses resulting from your injury. No fault means that regardless of who has caused the accident, your insurance company will cover the medical expenses resulting from your injury, the hospitalization, physical therapy, all within the coverage limit. It will also pay for your lost wages if you're unable to go back to work due to injuries. In New York, you can get compensation for pain and suffering only if you have sustained a serious injury. An experienced lawyer can help ensure the correct paperwork is filed so you can submit your claim on time. All righty. And by the way, remember everybody, no matter what your immigration status, whether documented or not, U.S. citizen, all immigrants still have rights. That includes the right to sue for compensation, if you are injured in an accident in the state of New York. For a free and confidential case review with our New York personal injury lawyers, call us at 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAW-LINK. If you or your loved one has been injured in a New York accident, 1-800-529-5465. And you should save our telephone number. You never know when you would get into an accident. And God forbid you do. You're going to need very good lawyers. And we are very good lawyers. So save our number. The best way to save our number is just dial it and hang up. Now you know you have it locked in your phone. All right, we're going to go to social media check-in. Let's do it. And we're going to All right, and as always in our social media check-in, our VIP Brad Squad members get their immigration questions answered first. To become a VIP Brad Squad member, all you have to do is subscribe to our VIP page on @Bradshaw Live on Facebook, and you have to go through a very, very tough vetting by our executive producer, Jilly Bean, who will ask very probing questions like, all right, you're admitted. As long as you're alive, you're admitted into the VIP. Everybody, we love everybody. Everyone's a VIP. All you got to do is join at Facebook, VIP, Brad Squad. And as one of the perks of being a Brad Squad member, you get your immigration questions answered first on social media check-in. So let's go. Jet Von Elling asks, I overstayed my 90 days. I got married. I'm still married. I'm going on 10 years, but we haven't been together for over 9 years. What can I do? Well, you're in a dead marriage. So having your spouse file for you, how's that even possible? You're in a dead marriage. So the answer is either get back together with your spouse or move on and find another way to get a green card. And I don't have to meet you and figure it out. But your spouse can't do anything for you. Even if you were going to, unless, you're not together because of physical abuse, it's going to be hard to prove emotional abuse from 9 years ago. But if there's physical abuse and evidence of that, maybe of our case, but, short of that, get divorced and figure out another way. Rhonda Abrams, I'm unmarried child over 21 of a U.S. citizen. I filed in 2019. How much longer before the approval? I don't know how much longer before the approval, but I do know you have about 3 or 4 more years before you get a green card. As if Khan, my priority date is December 2011 in the F3 category. I am from Pakistan. How long will the humanitarian reinstatement approval take? We requested USCIS in January 2022. When we get the visa in the coming years, will my children under 18 become automatic citizens, or do they have to wait for 5 years? They will not become automatic citizens. They would have to wait for 5 years and wait until they're over the age of 18 before filing for their citizenship. I don't know how much longer your reinstatement will take, but it's taking at least 2 or 3 years these days. Mohammed Shat, my wife broke her U.S. residence for 25 months. She returned to the USA 2 years ago. When can she apply for citizenship under the 3-year rule? After she is residing in the United States for 3 full years, residing in a bona fide marriage with you, she can file for her citizenship. And finally, Lisa Lee, our last VIP Brad Squad question. My husband sponsored me on his affidavit of support. We filed taxes jointly. So his income amount has increased. Does it mean he's able to use the increased amount to sponsor his kids? If he can't use your income to sponsor his kids, unless you already got a green card. And if you got a green card, then you can file a I-864A supplement, which is household member of the applicant, and combine your income. So it depends on whether or not you got your green card already. All right, let's go to the questions on social media. I'm going back here and let's see what we got. I'm scrolling through. Lazy boy. Whoops. Lazy boy, I lost my original passport with my visa and I-94, but I still have a copy of both. Can I file my case? Yes, you can file your case with the copy of the passport as long as you have a new passport. Solo King. Hello, my file for but got denied. I filed for but got denied. Got a waiver, got a refuse. After a year, the embassy called me back to drop the same document in another year, and they told me to drop off the passport, police records, do a medic. Solo King, you got to be more precise on exactly what you're asking. I have no idea. Zuri Kareen, my uncle and his wife have been married for over 2 years now. They haven't been living together. She hasn't filed an adjustment of status for him. However, she wants to file for his kids and her stepkids. Can that be done? If you're not filing for the spouse, but you want to file for his or her stepchildren, you can, but you're going to have to be able to show that you have a independent relationship with them. Other than that, they're going to ask for proof that your spouse got the green card first, that the father of the children got the green cards first. All right, let's go to Radames. Good evening. I have a pending I-485, but the I-140, which the I-45 was based on, is denied. Besides pending I-45, I don't have any status, but I have less than 180 illegal days. Can I apply for another I-140 and I-485? If it's less than 180 days, you can. If you qualify and your priority date is current and you otherwise qualify for another I-140, you certainly can do that under something called Section 245K. Itty Boogri, I guess. Hi, sir. Please, I've been given a 5-year work permit, and I want to know if that can delay my interview date. No, it won't delay your interview date. They just don't want you to they don't want to have to adjudicate work permits multiple times. So it will not slow it down. Fiona. Hi, Brad. What's the word on SIDGE? I got my work permit and social security number. I got an I-360 approved, but my I-45 is pending. It's been a year and a half. The word on SIDGE is backlogged priority dates to 2019. So if you filed your SIDGE prior to 2019, you'll get your green card. If it's after 2019, you're going to be waiting, unfortunately. Martin Deja. Hey, Brad, a friend of mine worked illegally in the U.S. while on a student F1 visa. He deposited checks on a bank a few times. Can he go back home and come back to the U.S. without any problems? Or do the Border Patrol officers know that he worked and they will turn him back? Well, if he worked illegally in the U.S., he's not eligible to come back. Whether or not they would know at the border, that's, he's taking his chances, but certainly committing fraud. JP. Hello, Brad. I have a question to ask. I just got married last week, but my 6 months is not up yet. I still travel domestic. The answer is yes, you can still travel domestic. My 6 month is ending March 9th, and I entered the USA in September 8th. Yeah, go travel, but put in your adjustment application. What are you waiting for? Nia Kamoy. I was a U.S. resident when I sponsored my overage son to come to the United States in 2020 and recently became a citizen. So I was wondering if I should upgrade the application and leave it as is. Leave it as is. Staying in the F2B category is faster than the F1, and you're entitled to keep either category. Adejoy Ajay. Ayodeji Ajay. I have material misrepresentation over 10 hours in Nigeria. Can I still, maybe 10 years in Nigeria, can still affect my visa application now from the UK to USA or Canada? Yes, that misrepresentation follows you always. Tafari. I am a permanent resident. My kids are visiting on a visitor's visa. What is the best option for having them stay with me permanently? I don't know how old your kids are. I don't know how you got your green card. If they're qualified as derivative beneficiaries on your green card, then file an adjustment while they're in status. If they're not qualified as derivative beneficiaries on your adjustment, file an I-130. They won't be able to stay right now because the priority dates aren't current. They'll have to go home, but hopefully in a year or two they can come back. Their priority dates will be current, and then you can adjust their status. Ashburn, how can ESTA overstay adjust status in U.S. after marrying green card holder? They cannot. If you overstay on an ESTA, the only way to get a green card is marriage to a citizen. So you got to wait for that green card holder to become a U.S. citizen. Cotton candy, is it safe to travel on a work permit card? Within the United States, yes. Outside the United States, no. Martin, we already asked that question. Jessica, when applying for your N400, what evidence of child support should you send in if your child is under 21? Well, the best way to show that you're getting child support is a letter from the spouse saying they're supporting the child, or you're supporting your child, whatever it is. You don't need to show that you're getting child support because it's a tax-free transaction. But if you have to pay child support to somebody else, then you get a letter. The best thing to do, unless it's going through the courts, is get a letter from the spouse saying, yeah, they're paying child support. Ecstasy. My minor and I did a marriage-based interview, and my green card has been approved, but my minor did not get his I-130, and not his high 130, his I-130 has been approved, but his I-45, Ecstasy's thinking about the word high too much. His I-130 has been approved, but his I-45 still says scheduled for interview. Presumably he would shortly get it, I would assume, but if not, then certainly contact us if it's more than 120 days from the time that you got approved. Joyce Henry, hi Brad, of this month will be 1 year since I sent in evidence that was requested. 24 of this month will be 1 year since I sent in evidence what was requested. It's 2 full years since I filed for my spouse in Jamaica. I haven't received anything approved or denied. Is this concerning? Yes, it is. I would certainly contact me to figure out what's going on. Dean Stiles, hey Brad, you were really missed. How long does the NVC take to schedule an interview? I'm in Jamaica. From the time you're documentarily qualified, about 1 year. Karen Jones, hi Brad. My USA citizen husband filed for my green card since March 2023. We received the receipt notice within 1 day. Any idea of how long to wait? I'm in the Caribbean. My USA has filed for my green card since March 20. We received it. You're going to wait 3 years, maybe longer, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, you're not getting your green card anytime soon. Soccer lovers, welcome back, Brad. Thank you. I'm in removal process. I entered the country using J1 visa with 2-year requirement. I'm married to an American citizen. I-130 approved. Can I file for VAWA without waiving a J1? You can file for a VAWA and you can file for a J1 hardship based on VAWA, but you still have to get a J1 waiver. Let's go to Jason Garcia. One question, how much long does it take for a U visa for prima facie for a VAWA? How much does it take for you to get a prima facie for VAWA? About 6 months if you're approved for it. Hi, good evening. Do you find people to be a sponsor for someone if they need a sponsor? No, I do not. You need to come to me with a sponsor. Serene, hey, Brad. My friend got married and moved to Florida. However, she was extremely unhappy as her husband was verbally abusive to her and refused to file. What are our options? Scared to leave him. You don't. Well, let me be frank with you. You don't have to stay in an unhappy marriage. And if he's emotionally abusive and screaming and yelling, then file a VAWA case, leave him, prove the emotional abuse, which is your detailed statement, and prove you and him live together and move on with life. You don't deserve to live like that. Her Dayjeet, any prediction on religious workers backlog? It's going to be a while, unfortunately. HA, I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm married, but unfortunately have no kids. I want to adopt my nephew here on a B1, B2, and is 13 years old. His single mom is struggling a lot with illness of the other child. yes, you can certainly adopt him, and 2 years after the adoption, file for his adjustment, and hopefully he gets his adjustment before he's 18, and you become an automatic citizen. Keep in mind, you have 3 things you have to do. 1, do an adoption before 16. 2, have legal guardianship of him for 2 years. If you don't get legal guardianship, it starts at the day of adoption. And 3, obviously be a U.S. citizen. All right. Brad, do you do same-sex cases? I do all cases from all sexes, same-sex, heterosex. I do not discriminate. I help everybody. Jimmy F. Hi, counselor from Germany. How long should I wait for counselor interview EB3 appointment? I was sent the DS-260 fees about Europe. Nobody speaks about counselor processing times. I don't know what the processing times in Germany are, but you figure from the time you're documentarily qualified, at least 6 months. Galacticus. How long for this asylum petition? Depends on when it was filed. If you file it now, it'll be quicker than if you filed it 3 years ago. Katie. What are the time frame to get a response on an I-824 from kids in Jamaica? Well, assuming you approved your green card and you're transferring the case to the NVC, it's about 9 months. Tamika, Brad, when file a motion appeal case in USCIS, how long does it take to reopen back based on the marriage? I don't know anything about your case. It can take 3 months. It could take 3 years. It could take 30 years. It all case specific. Jennifer, my parents are on the process of naturalization. Interview is on April. Should we wait for them to become a citizen to file for my adult handicapped brother, or can they file a petition before April? File now, today, as long as your adult handicapped brother is single, which I assume you would be, or maybe as long as he's single. File. I shouldn't assume. Awuzu. Hello, Brad. I'm 27-year-old Nigerian living in the UK. My mom became a U.S. citizen last year, and I'm wondering if there's a way for her to file for me to come over, and how long would the fastest process take? The fastest process is for your mom to start the visa petition process as quickly as possible, but that can take 6 or 7 years. Something faster, get married to a U.S. citizen, a bona fide marriage. Something faster, get sponsored in a job. All right, we're going to do 2 or 3 more. Gage. I'm going to get married to my U.S. citizen. I'm currently in Canada on a work permit, but I'm a British citizen, so I have an active ESTA, which I think entitles me to 90 days at a time. What is the best way to go about this? File an adjustment. What would be the outcome? Assuming you're married to a U.S. citizen, you enter the United States on an ESTA, and the marriage happens more than 90 days, and you file more than 90 days after your entry, you would file an adjustment, and you would get a green card. If you file before then, you may be denied. Oh, thank you, Great Edwards, for my $10. I really appreciate it. We had to make sure that your question got answered. My mother in Jamaica has an appointment 2 weeks from now. She was told no to show up at the interview by the doctor pending culture test results. Should she still show up to the interview? Yes, show up to the interview. And if there's a problem with the medical, they will ask her for more information. If you have an interview, unless it got canceled, show up. Melissa, good evening, Uncle Brad. I said that was going to be the last, but we'll do 2 more. How about 3 more? 3 more, and that's it. Good evening, Uncle Brad. I have a question. If someone came to the U.S. on a B1, B2 and spent 6 weeks and left, how soon can they come back? At least wait 3 or 4 months. Galacticus, been dependent on my mom's asylum as a minor case when I was 16 years old. Do I still apply? Valid already, have 37 years old and married a U.S. citizen kid. I would need to know more about you, Galacticus, to figure out whether you're eligible to adjust your status. All right, last question. I'm a permanent resident holder for 20 years. Can I sponsor my wife to get a green card without waiting for me to get a citizen? Yes, but if she's in the United States and not 245I eligible, she would have to wait on your citizenship in order to adjust her status unless she is going to go home with a provisional waiver. But the answer is yes, but since you've been a resident for 20 years, you should certainly start filing for your citizenship as well. A while back, I had spoken with Antoinette Tuff, who, after multiple suicide attempts, found purpose in her life in 2013 after she talked about an active shooter in the Georgia elementary school where she worked. Talked down an active shooter in a Georgia elementary school where she worked. Antoinette told me what happened on that fateful day when there was a shooter came into her classroom and how the events changed her life, even having her story told in a Lifetime movie starring Toni Braxton. Let's watch. With us today is Antoinette Tuff, and boy, does that name stick with her after you hear her extraordinary story. Her story is so extraordinary, Lifetime Networks aired a true life movie about her experience, the experience that happened on August 20th, 2013. Antoinette was working as a bookkeeper at the Ronald McNair Discovery Learning Center in Decatur, Georgia. And let's look at the trailer first.
You need to get out of there. This is your chance. He's reloading.
All night long, the nets they threw through the stars in the twinkling fall. It was all so pretty a sail it seemed.
Intruder alert!
And some folks thought 'twas a dream they dreamed, as if it could not be. So shut your eyes as mother sings.
You don't have to do this, son.
Of the wonderful sights that be.
Antoinette, welcome to our show, and tell us what happens on that day.
It's a pleasure to be on your show today. So on August 20, 2013, I walked into the elementary school. I was on my way to work that day, overwhelmed because my husband had just left me after 33 years. And so I was just trying to get my bearings and trying to get myself together, trying to figure out how I was going to pay bills, because when he left all this debt.
And you have children, and one is disabled, I understand, right?
Yes, my son is multiple disabled, and so he had actually came home to visit me from school because I was in an unstable position. I had tried to commit suicide several times, and so my son came to kind of check on me to see how I was doing. It was real uncomfortable for me to be able to allow my kids to know what was going on with me at that moment, but it was obvious. I was just not knowing how to breathe without having my best friend. My husband wasn't just my husband, but he was my best friend too.
He was your life for 33 years. This is what you were looking at when you went to work. What happened when you showed up at the school?
I got to work and I'm sitting there, and my principal comes in and asks me if I could fill in for the secretary for lunch. That's not what I normally do, but he needed somebody to fill in for her. Mm-hmm. She had just started working there a couple of days before that, so she was brand new to the job. And so I was trying to get myself together to go and relieve her, but I wind up getting a phone call from the bank. And they wanted $14,000 in 7 days. So I'm like, okay, they didn't get the memo. So then I'm actually sitting there crying, trying to get myself together. And I get up and walk out the door, and it's the teacher wanting me to help her with her paperwork. So me and the teacher goes up to the front office to relieve the secretary. The secretary goes out of one door, and the parent that she was helping goes out the other door.
And you're left in the school office with one other woman.
Just the teacher. Correct. I was helping her with the paperwork.
Okay.
And so I'm actually sitting there helping the teacher with her paperwork, and the parent goes out the door and the secretary goes out the door. So we don't think anything of it. And so we're just sitting there working. And then all of a sudden, we hear this unbelievable sound, because the parent let the gunman in, because I didn't keep him in.
So there was a gunman walked into this school, and the sound that you heard was what?
It was the gunman saying, "We're all going to die."
That was the first sound you heard. He walked into the office, or you heard him say that in the hallway?
No, he was in the office by then.
He was in the office. So a gunman walks into the office. He announces to the two people in this office, one of whom is you. Okay, yes. You are all going to die today. Was he brandishing a gun, or did he say he had a gun? What did he have on his body besides the words that came out of his mouth that obviously was alarming and obviously really scary?
So what he did is, when he walked into the front office, he was saying those words. He had a book bag on his back, and he had a rifle bag in his hand, and then he had the gun already out, walking and pacing to and fro in front of us, telling us both that we're going to die today. This is not a joke. This is for real. and he was going to and fro, just talking to us and giving us demands.
So basically a crazy man walks in with a huge rifle, a bag of ammo, announces you're going to die. How many children are in this school at this moment?
Over 870 children, staff, and parents.
And this is what grades?
It's pre-K all the way up to 5th grade.
And what was the first thing this man says you're going, when somebody puts a gun to you and points it at you, what went through your mind? He says, this is it, you're going to die. What was the first thing that went through your mind?
I started calling on Jesus.
And he obviously answered because you're here, okay? Now you said you did this in your mind, correct?
Right.
Okay, so after you had this sudden, prayer, Jesus, come help me, and this man is, showing a gun to you, and what does he say? What do you do?
Well, the whole time he was talking, I was praying. So I never did stop praying. I was watching him walking to and fro. He was giving me demands of what he wanted me to do.
What were his demands?
He wanted the teacher first to go and let everybody know that he was in the building. Then he was going to and fro. He went outside and shot in front of the office several times in the community. And so I didn't know exactly what that was going to wind up looking like, but afraid, but still talking to God, asking him what to do.
We have part of the 911 tape of you calling the police to let them know that there is a gunman in the school. Let's take a listen.
Okay, police, what's addressing your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. I'm on 2nd Avenue in the school, and the gentleman said, tell them to hold down. The police officer coming, and he said he's going to start shooting, so tell them to back off.
Okay, one moment.
Do not let anybody in the building, including the police. Do not let anybody in the building, including the police.
Okay, stay on the line with me, man. Where are you?
I'm in the front office. Oh, he just went outside and started shooting.
Okay.
Oh, can I run?
Can you get somewhere safe?
Yeah, I gotta go. No, he's gonna see me running and call me back. Oh, hold on.
Put the phone down.
Bye.
All right, so I want you to know, I'm scared listening to this, and I'm not even there living it. The man walks in, you're going to die, he runs out 3 feet from your office, starts shooting at you don't know what. He then comes back, you're still on the phone with 911. They're listening to the speaker. When did it dawn on you that you have to have a conversation with this gunman?
I was just actually talking to him and praying to God and asking God, what do I say to him? Because right now, every word that proceeds out of my mouth can be life or death. I didn't know at the moment until after all this was over with that I had told him all my business.
You gave him your entire story. What was his reaction?
He never really communicated when I asked him his name and all that. He never really allowed me to know that he was listening or that I was even getting across to him. Only thing he did was stick to his script of just telling me and giving me demands of what to do. He never said to me until at the very end of what his name was, even though I asked him his name multiple times. So I don't know what that connection was, but that I was just asking God what to say to him.
At what point did he give himself up? And tell me how that all came about.
But what he did is he started first of all telling me his name, and then he came back and he called I think it was his mom that he called. He made a phone call and told them that it was him on the news and what was going on. Then he kind of sat there and all that, and then he went back outside after he called them. I thought it was going to be over with, but after he did all that, he went back outside and started shooting again. And then he wound up taking, I didn't know what they were at first at that time, but they were magazines. Right. And he was taking and loading up the magazines in front of me. So all I was hearing was click, 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 click. So it was just like, oh my God, it brought another level of fear. So I didn't know exactly when it was. All he did was, in the midst of me talking to him, in the midst of me telling him my story, he put all of the ammunition out of his pockets because he had wound up loading up so he can go out and just do damage. So he wound up taking all of the ammunition and everything out of his pockets, all of the magazines that he had already loaded up in front of me. Then he put the gun over there on the table beside me on that desk, and his bottle of water and his phone, and he just laid on the floor prostrate before the Lord and just let him come and get him.
All right. So on our next show, and I promise you a next show, we will hear the conclusion of my conversation with Antoinette and her tips for handling stressful situations, including immigration issues, even when they may seem overwhelming. All right, this is the most exciting 50 seconds in immigration law history you're going to witness. Every time we have our show, if there's ever an exciting 50 seconds, this is it. This is when we do what's called Brad Show Live Speed Round, where I will answer 10 viewers' questions. I don't know what the questions are in advance. Within 50 seconds, that means it is less than 5 seconds a question. And I have to answer all 10 questions right, or somebody in the studio named Jilly Bean will press the red button that says do not press, and that blows up the entire studio and the show. I do not want to get blown up. This is very exciting. Let's do it, Jilly. Let's do it. All right. We are ready. And I'm supposed to count down. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. How long does it take to file for a sibling? At least over a decade. How long does a fiance visa take? More than a year. If my passport was taken by USCIS, can I apply for a new one? Yeah, of course. Why not? Can I finish high school in the U.S. on a tourist visa? You can't go to high school on a tourist visa. How long does it take to file for kids? It depends on how old your kids are. I'm undocumented and don't carry my U.S. citizen father's last name. Can he file for me? Yeah, why not? Can you join the U.S. military with a green card if you're over 42? You can join with a green card, but 42 is too old. Can you file the EB2, EB3, and asylum simultaneously? Yes, you can file multiple cases together. Can I overstay on an ESTA and marry my fiance? Yes, you can, as long as she's a citizen. Can someone get arrested for being in the U.S. without a valid visa? Yes, of course. Wow, that was unbelievably fast. You gave me a lot of very short questions for my first time back. You did not blow up. Instead of blowing up, Julie will give me a balloon. Where is it? There it is. All right. Thank you very much for my balloons, Julie. I appreciate it. Before we say goodbye, we do have to get to our comments of the day. Let's see what we got. All right, our first comment of the day comes from Marcel Reed. Yay! The best immigration lawyer is on. Thank you very much, Marcel. Our second comment of the day comes from Lazy Boy. Hey, I'm new. Love your videos. Thank you very much, Lazy Boy. Our third comment of the day comes from Tia Williams. Happy to have you back. Thank you very much, Tia. And our last comment of the day comes from 29 Super C. Hire Uncle Brad to help you, Maya. All right, very good advice, 29 Super C. Thank you all for watching. We will not be back in 6 months. We will be back in a lot less time. I don't know the exact date. Stay tuned. It's probably weeks or days away, I promise you. We will not be away that much longer again. So stay tuned for when our show will appear again, weeks or days from now. Until then, have a great rest of the evening or day wherever you may be. Stay safe. Stay positive. Always smile, because you don't smile, you're here in life, no matter what your situation. Try to smile. There's good and bad, but try to get through it. That's what I try to do every day. And have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay healthy, everybody. Love you all. See you on our next show. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay. Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here.
Forget it, I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And visit us now at our Connecticut office, 221 Main Street, Suite 501, Hartford, Connecticut. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?